Hey everybody, welcome. My name's Neil Winteregg. I'm with Matterhorn Business Development. This is the CEO of Matterhorn Business Development, Greg Winteregg, a guy I taught everything he knows. Just so happens we share the same last name. This is a segment we're going to call the Business Newsroom, where we sit down and we talk about business ideas based off of things that are trending or being talked about with regards to business. And I have an article here to talk about with a topic to talk about that he doesn't know what we're about to talk about. So I know what's happening. He has no idea what's happening. So we're going to talk.
He's in the perfect position. He's always wanted me in this position.
How much is it worth too? Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is a topic that I found on a website, and then I want to go over it with him and get his reaction, his take, and then we're going to start like a live dialogue about what we think. Because this is something that I find very interesting from a business perspective. So I wanted to get his take on it because we've never actually talked about it. So I found an article here. We will leave a link to it, but it's from TheVerge.com. And there is a writer named Andrew Hawkins. And the title, the header of this article says, Uber reportedly lost $891 million in the second quarter of 2018 as growth slows. Now, admittedly, this article is a few months old. This is from August, but it's relevant because talks are right now of Google launching an IPO next year and all sorts of stuff. But here's what's interesting to me. First off, I use Uber all the time. It has made work and life so much easier for traveling. For somebody who travels all the time, you use it all the time.
Yep.
I think it's a great product. It's a great company. But here's what's interesting to me about this, okay? So they brought in $2.8 billion in revenue in the second quarter of 2018, but ultimately lost $891 million. Now, it's hard to get the exact number, but right now it looks like Uber is valued at about $76 billion. This article says that they have $7.3 billion in cash on hand, okay, which is being talked about how great that is. But here's what's interesting to me. A company can be worth $73 billion and in its history has never actually made a dollar of profit. I just find that ridiculous. I don't understand how a business can be worth $76 billion because that's all money that it's taking in and have 7.5 in the bank and be like, oh, it's great. But it lost $890 million. I mean, I don't know how a sane person can value something that doesn't even make money. This is what's interesting to me. Now, I know that it's going to talk about stocks and all this other crap that I think is ridiculous too, but I mean, $890 million in lost revenue, and I'm sure the CEO didn't take a pay cut, but they just got another $2 billion in funding, so who cares? I mean, I just was curious what you think about how valuations work on this type of stuff.
Well, full disclosure, I do not play the stock market. Just a short story. I invested into an IRA in 1981 when I first opened my dental practice. I put $4,000 a year into my IRA, so I put $12,000 in. And 3 years later, my portfolio was worth $11,400. And I called the broker, and he's like, oh no, this happens, it cycles. And you're fine, you're 29 years old. And I'm like, I hung up and I'm like, this is ridiculous. What if it cycles down when I'm 69 years old?
We should have invested in Uber, apparently.
Evidently. So I've always been more of the mindset of I'm going to control my destiny. I'm not going to let Wall Street control my destiny. So I'm going to have a company or companies, and I'm going to make money.
Right.
And my viewpoint is I'm never going to
actually
retire.
make money, like profit.
But really make money. So this is just like you put the green pea underneath the coffee cups, and it's just a card game as far as I'm concerned. So I do not pretend to understand Wall Street or the stock market because as far as I'm concerned, it's like going to Las Vegas. Because from a business standpoint, I'm with you, it makes no sense.
Right.
Now also for small to medium business sized owners, they can't play that game because they're not going to be able to get on
Right.
Wall Street.
Now I understand
have an
if
IPO
you
or
invested in Uber when
That-
it first came out, you were a genius, and
Well, just from a stock standpoint.
you're right. From a stock standpoint, if
Right.
you invested in Uber years ago and you were one of the first ones, and yeah, you're worth hundreds of millions right now. But I'm just curious, like, how people's thinkingness can somehow find this logical that something can lose $890 million and still be considered a success. This is what baffles me, because I don't consider that a success. Now, I love the product.
Right.
I'm a consumer of the product. I think it's a great idea. They somehow lost $200 million in its self-driving car campaign. So in reality, this isn't even about, I mean, I understand future growth and all that, but here's, like, on the flip side, Amazon made $2 billion in the same. Now, I know Amazon probably went through, and people who know more about the stocks are going to correct me, and you can correct me. I'm just saying, it doesn't make any sense to me how,
as a business model,
we're going to
sense.
lose money, and that's smart. Like, I don't understand that.
So it's about what you focus on. This is just my view.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not a stock guy.
Yeah.
It's about what you focus on. So they're focused on value.
Right.
They're not focused on profit.
Right.
So in our company and companies that we've worked in and companies that we've owned, we have to focus on profit because we can't focus on anything else. And I've talked to business owners, and they're all excited about their company, and it's a similar situation. Oh, we grew by 20% last year. We grew by 50% last year.
We didn't pay ourselves, but we grew.
Exactly. So how much extra money did you take home? None. I actually took home less, but I'm investing back in the business.
Right.
Okay, well, I understand that, but then it has to be about profit.
Right. There has to be something at the end of it.
Yeah, so it's like, are you working to expand?
Yeah.
Are you working to get the next piece of equipment? Are you working to have a new building? Are you working for, or as far as I'm concerned, in business, the only thing to focus on is profit.
Yeah.
And so this is a different model.
I feel like the stock market, the stock exchange, all this stuff has taken people's ideas of what success is and completely altered it over,
I agree.
I think, many, many years of all. I mean, the stock market started like, what, the 40s or something? I don't even remember.
Know.
Anyway, somebody's going to laugh in the comments. It's fine with me. I'm just saying that I can't get behind a business model that doesn't worry about
Profit.
This, to me, is like Bernie Madoff type stuff.
Totally.
Like, look at all the money that people were taking from people, and it's all just like a house of cards.
So we're
obviously on the same philosophy.
We are. And we are
I believe
advisors.
that hard work and making money is how you control your destiny.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that people who invest in the stock market are bad or anything. I mean, I think there's a lot of ways that you can make great money off of it. I just think that it makes the small business owner lose touch with what's important when you have something that can lose $891 million. And the fact that it didn't lose $1.1 billion, which is how much it lost last year's second quarter, good job. We only lost $890 as opposed to $1.1 billion.
Look how smart we are.
Woo! Right? Like, oh wow, that's a success. And then here's what drives me also crazy about all this. Not to go off too far. It drives me crazy when people are considered smart businessmen because they invested in Uber so long ago. Now it's like, well, I invested in Uber. And there's a lot of famous people, and I'm not saying names or whatever, but it just drives me crazy when these people are put in front of TV, they're writing news articles, and it's like their claim to fame is that they invested in Uber. And I'm like, okay. I mean, if I don't know. It just, to me, it seems like it takes the normal person. It just gives them a different view of what they should be focused on and worried about in business.
Well, if we flash back to the conversation I had with my broker when I was 29 years old,
Yeah.
I thought it was ridiculous because he's expecting me to have my retirement be dependent on something over which I have no control.
Right.
So what it's about is it's about control.
Right.
If you're not going to play this stock market game. And there are people out there who play the game and they're good at it and they can see the trends and all of that. But for me, I know what I can control. I can control my product. I can control who I help. I can control how I cost it.
Right.
There's so much in business that I can control.
Right.
And to me, The fun part of owning a business is when it's not going right, sitting down and figuring out how to make it go right.
Right.
That's the fun part of the business.
Yeah.
So this for me is no fun because I'm going to put my money into this and cross my fingers. And you're talking about people who can sit back and pound their chest because I got into Uber when it,
Right.
it was nothing and now it's worth $1 jillion. Okay, let's sit back and show me your portfolio of all your losers.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't like that game because I have no control over that game.
Yeah.
That game fluctuates based on, who's in the White House or the news of the day, or was
that's
there
a real winner.
a hurricane,
Right.
or was there a volcano? And then it's such an emotional roller coaster ride. It's like, I'm just not going to play that game.
It made me think of it when you were talking as 2008, 2009, with our clients and people that we were working with at that time. I mean, there was people that I met in business who were approaching retirement age. We talked about growing their business.
Yeah.
They laughed because their business was worth $1 million and they were just going to sell it and they were going to retire. And then 2008, 2009, their business is worth $300,000 and now they're still working today because they didn't plan properly.
Well, or the orthodontist that I talked to who sold because the market was booming.
Yep.
So he sells his practice.
Yeah.
And then he's sitting in front of me at age 68 to start another practice.
Right.
Because he lost all his money in the market.
Right.
Well, why not keep the business, bring on an associate, build an organization,
Yeah.
and run it actually like a real company,
Yeah.
and don't sell the goose that's laying the golden egg. So I'm sure there are people who are watching this sitting their belly laughing.
Oh, yeah. We're
at
complete morons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what ignoramuses we are. But then, I don't know.
I like being in control of my own destiny.
Completely, and the way we're doing it has worked for us.
Yeah.
And so we're interested in helping people control their own destiny rather than worrying
Rolling
at
the
night.
dice.
Yeah, rolling the dice and worrying at night what's happening to the market and who's in the White House and, what about this thing or that thing. And it's just kind of like
Yeah.
that part of it, of this game, I think is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be in a situation where I can't control my own destiny.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean I always win. But what that does mean is when I'm losing, if I have certain pieces that I can move in my game, then I can go out and do something about it and recreate it and get
Yeah.
back on top of it. And usually the company grows from there and is in a much better position, much stronger position.
Yeah.
So I'm with
See-
you. I think it's a silly business model. And
So here's another thing that I've thought of, because you and I talk about business stuff all the time and ideas, whatever. I don't think I'd be able to do something where, you elect a board.
right.
We talked about this. What was it? The Men's Warehouse guy.
Yeah.
You're gonna like the way you look. I remember seeing those ads
Yeah.
growing up. Well, the company gets big. They elect a board. He's
out.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Nobody even knows what I'm talking about.
Papa John's gone. Steve
John's
Jobs
gone.
So it's kind of like, yeah.
Is that really worth it? I don't know, man. I mean, even the owner of Uber is gone. The guy who started that. What was his name? Travis Kalanick or whatever. He said something or did something. I don't know. He got squeezed out of his own company.
Yep.
I know there was multiple people, not just him. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like diluting your control and then going public with a business that's worth... I mean, it's great that it's worth $76 billion, but I don't think it's worth anything.
I agree with
It's
you.
worth the 7.5 it has in the bank account.
Yep.
And that's it. I mean, what else is there?
I agree.
I don't know. It seems very ridiculous, but I wouldn't be able to take a company and do that, I don't think.
So the bottom line is, you and I agree, is you own a company, you control your own destiny.
Yep.
You take care of the people that you're serving with your product or your service.
Yep.
And then you hire great people underneath you.
And you take care of them.
You take care of them.
They take care of you.
Yep. And then you promote them, you give them more responsibility, and your time and involvement in the day-to-day operations becomes less and less, and pretty soon you're at the top of the company pushing the vision, etc. So, yeah, I'm with you.
We're on the same. We're
totally
on
on
the
the
same.
same
I knew we'd be
page.
on the same page, but
Right.
I wanted to see what you had to think
Because
about
you
it.
did teach me everything I know.
I did teach you everything you know. So, but it is interesting because I
agree
hadn't
with you.
looked. I hadn't looked at the Uber valuation for a little while.
Yeah.
But then they've never even had a profitable month. They've never had a profitable quarter, and somehow this is all success.
So the bottom line in my mind is focus on profit.
Focus on profit.
Have your own company, have your own business, no matter what it is, lawn care, roofing, painting, whatever it is your business is, dry cleaning, then just focus on profit.
Yeah.
And be smart about that.
Yeah, I agree. All right.
Interesting article.
Interesting article, interesting numbers.
Yep.
We'll see where it goes in 2019. They're obviously going to go make an IPO and all sorts of other stuff, and we'll see what the valuation comes in at. But it's worth $76 billion. And it hasn't made any money, so that's amazing. So anyway, welcome. I hope you guys liked the business newsroom. We're going to do some more of these. We got some other topics that we're going to be talking about. Every time I find an interesting piece, we'll sit down with my dad or somebody else and talk business, and hopefully you learn something out of it, and hopefully you get something that maybe changes your opinion or your point of view about your own business. So good luck out there. Keep staying busy. 2019 is right around the corner. Be sure you plan for profit for next year. All right. Stay in control of your own business. That's what we learned today.
We hope so.
We hope so. At least hope somebody did. All right. Thank you. Have a good one. So if you like today's video, please hit the like button. Leave a comment down below. Tell us how much of idiots we are and share it with your friends.